Buying a property used to be one of the very important events in life for many Chinese, but as prices fall, more and more home buyers are regretting it. This brother in Beijing spent $684,000 2 years ago to buy a villa near Beijing to flip properties. Now he has lost money and can only sell it for around $200,000. I am so exhausted that I have no more tears to cry. The condo I bought for $222,000 dropped in price by $82,000 in 3 years. It could not be sold at all, and even if I sell it, the money I get won't be enough to pay the interest. I cried so much that my tears dried up after I bought the condo. My mortgage is about $510,000 and I've been paying it off for 5 years. I still have a loan of $88,000, but my property has now dropped to $74,000. My loan is more expensive than the apartment's value. That means I am working for a bank every day. What is the sense of my work? Alas, I am so anxious that my voice is hoarse recently. Don't you just earn money to pay the bank monthly installments? Since I bought the new home, I haven't eaten out yet. I just have an egg for breakfast, which is healthy and not expensive. Since I bought the condo, I dare not buy anything for fear that I will not have enough money to repay the mortgage one day. People say buying a living space is for a better life, but why don't I feel happy after doing it? I lost everything. I'm really tired now. After I sell this condo, I will say goodbye to my current life. Someone got his new home and he has already lost half of its value. The key point is that it's in such a high-end neighborhood. When the landlord came to register, he was crying the whole time. His condo was sold and he has no money left. It's because of the pressure of life. After you sold it, your down payment is gone. Now you don't have a penny left. You bought the condo in vain. Yes, he lost it all. Bought it in 2020 with a down payment of $82,000 and a loan of $191,000. This is my condo in Ocean Flower Island, Hainan. I bought it for US $2,710 per square meter, and now I have finally sold it for US $684 per square meter. I regret it so much. At that time, my family came to Hainan for a trip. I think the city is suitable for relocation because we are from the north and feel winter there is particularly cold. We want to find a place like here to spend the winter. It's a good idea, but reality often slaps you in the face. And what is the most painful thing for me? When I came to Ocean Flower Island, I thought it was a good place. The sea is just outside the window and the scenery in various places is also beautiful. There was also a hotel on the island at that time, which had conference rooms and a water park. I thought it was very good, but I didn't expect that the facilities were still not mature. Why? Because its medical conditions are too limited, let alone anything else. There was only a small clinic on the island. Once, the child had a fever and we had to go to the clinic and found the medical conditions were limited. If you really need something, you have to go to the city, but it's dozens of kilometers away, which is very troublesome. As China's housing prices continue to fall, homeowners are feeling sad. The man took out all his savings to buy a new home, which ended up rotten-tailed, that is, unfinished forever. The sales said buying a property is a sure win. We bought this condo and spent all our savings on it. Now we have lost $41,000. The man revealed the current situation of mortgage repayments in Bengbu, Anhui Province. If an ordinary person takes out a loan for $110,000 to buy a condo, his life is basically ruined. For example, the average income of Bengbu City is $548 and the loan is $110,000. Based on the current mortgage rate of 3.1, the monthly payment is $465. After paying off the mortgage, there will only be $82 left each month. It's 2025 now. Is $82 really enough for one person's food, clothing, housing, and transportation? This does not include the car loan. After 30 years of working like a slave, what do you have left in the end? Some people say that the property rights of a condo are 70 years. Have you ever seen a residential building over 30 years old that can still be lived in? All are demolished and new ones are built. An agent in Shenyang, Liaoning Province said homebuyers are bargaining to a crazy level. The properties in Shenyang can no longer be sold. The owners have collapsed. The person who wants to buy the condo has gone crazy. The owner asked for 137,000. Guess how much the buyer offered? This morning, I took a client to look at a condo. We looked at about 7 or 8 condos. The client had been searching for condos for some time before, and today he came to see one in Evergrande Central Plaza. He asked me to make an appointment with the owner and discuss the price. After we met, we talked about the price. The client said, "The price I could offer is 82,000. Instantly, everyone in the room fell silent. I felt like everything was still for 10 seconds. I was silent for a while and said to the client, "Brother, stop making a fuss. The owner is sincere in selling the condo and no one should offer such a low price." Then the client's wife immediately took over and said that was fine. We'll add a maximum of $2,738. If he wants to sell it, we can buy it. When the homeowner heard this, he turned around and left. The homeowner said that in 2024, someone had offered $151,000 for this condo, but he couldn't bear to sell it. Residential sales in China are officially called house trades, but in reality, the vast majority of the transactions are condos. One reason is that China has a dense population and urban land is scarce. Another major reason is that high-rise residential buildings are the type that earns the government the highest profit margin. Buying a condo is a very important matter for many Chinese people because it involves providing a place for the whole family to live, preparing for children's marriage, and providing security for their own retirement. In addition, China's inflation rate is very high, and ordinary people can hardly find other safe investment methods to resist inflation except buying condos. But what happened today? Under the rule of the Chinese government, many people empty their life savings, live frugally, and work hard to pay off their mortgages every month. In the end, house prices continued to fall, and the Chinese finally found themselves working for the bank, and even the mortgages they paid in the past few years were wasted. One cannot help but question the role played by the Chinese government in this. Shanghai, a first-tier city in China, was once an international metropolis that many people yearned for. But now, with the overall decline of China's economy, Shanghai has become increasingly desolate. The housing prices in Shanghai, where land was once almost worth a lot of money, have plummeted. Do you know how bad the condo prices in Shanghai are? I heard that they have evaporated by more than 70% recently. The peak price of Anshan Miyuan Community in Yangpu District was 20,000 per square meter, but now it's 9,308, a drop of 53.5%. The peak price of Citizens New Village in Huangpu District was 32,000 per square meter, but now it's only 15,000, a drop of more than 54%. The price of Gaoxin Garden in Minhang District was 16,000 per square meter, but now it's only 7,392, a drop of 55%. And the peak price of Beigong South District in Nanchao, Fengxian was about 5,476 per square meter, but now it's only 1,780 per square meter, a drop of 57%. The peak price of Beihai Greenland in Qingpu was 4,517 per square meter, but now it's 1,916 per square meter, a drop of 60%. And the peak price in Meizhou New Village in Jinshan New Town was 3,148 per square meter, but now it's less than 1,232, a drop of more than 63%. What's even more terrifying? In Lingong, there was a property called Polly Lily of the Valley Mansion. Its peak price was over $80,000 per square meter, but now it's listed at $3,700. What's more, it still cannot be sold. The price has dropped by more than 70%. Do you think this is serious? The Shanghai property market may not be able to maintain the current level this year and may continue to decline. If the restraint policy is not lifted, the price cannot be stabilized. How can we see it? During this period from November and December last year to the end of the Spring Festival, the prices of resold condos across the country are still declining, especially in the areas around Shanghai City. If the list price in the area around Shanghai is declining, then the decline will come to Shanghai. I mean, the prices in the main urban areas of Shanghai will also be declining. Dear friends, it's still quite difficult to sell new condos in Shanghai now. For the listings outside the central ring road, it's almost impossible to sell them. It's over. The real estate replacement chain is broken. Young men who came to Shanghai to realize their dreams relied on the 137,000 collected from his parents and his family to buy an old, dilapidated condo for the whole price of around 410,000 and started his life in Shanghai. The homeowner of the old, dilapidated and small condos used this money to exchange for the updated condo with an elevator worth 821,000. Then the owner of the updated condo used that money to exchange for a 3-bedroom condo worth 1.2 million. Then the owner of the 3-bedroom condo exchanged for a small Western-style house worth 1.6 million. The owner of the small Western-style house used this 1.6 million to buy a luxury condo in the busy center of the city. The market was booming, but now it's all in chaos. The foreigner who lives in an apartment in the mansion worth $1.6 million is going back to his hometown. So the apartment is for sale in a hurry. And the boss who lives in a small villa worth $1.6 million has a declining performance in his company and has to sell the villa to pay his employees. The financial elite who lives in the condo worth $1.23 million was laid off and cannot pay his mortgage, so he has to sell the condo. The middle-aged lady who lives in a condo worth $820,000 also has to sell the condo because her trust collapsed. Everyone is in a hurry to sell, but young people at the bottom who have a down payment of $137,000 are afraid to buy a home as they see the housing prices plummet. Once this replacement chain is broken, it will become increasingly difficult to sell properties in Shanghai. It's an indisputable fact that housing prices in Shanghai have generally fallen. After the Chinese New Year, few people returned to Shanghai than before, a Shanghai real estate agent said. Many people have returned to their jobs, including our agency, but we have nothing to do at work. In previous years, there were many clients renting condos at this time, but this year, today is the 10th day of the first lunar month, and the streets in Shanghai used to be bustling with people. But now, many streets are deserted. Many brick-and-mortar stores are closed, and many have not yet opened. This phenomenon is very scary. These people have either not returned to Shanghai yet or are planning not to go back to Shanghai. Our agency has been open for several days, but we see only a few clients come to consult. The number of workers who went back to Shanghai dropped sharply. An agent gave the reason. Overnight, the labor market in Shanghai, Suzhou, and Kunshan completely changed. This year, the number of ordinary employees coming to Jiangsu, Zhejiang, and Shanghai to work has decreased by at least 1 million, and the local flow of workers is also declining rapidly. What is the most fundamental reason? In the past 2 years, many people have come to Shanghai, Kunshan, and Suzhou to find jobs, all for the high wages and to make money. However, there are endless scams here. Many factories offer 31 RMB per hour for their work, and then the people hired might be charged all kinds of fees, deducted food and lodging fees and insurance fees, so the final pay is only $684 to $820 per month. Some factories offer a wage of $3.83 an hour, reimburse travel expenses, provide blankets, and even give return subsidies. But when migrant workers come, they are cheated and defrauded by the black-hearted agencies. After the Chinese New Year, there are not many people on the streets of Shanghai. Some people visited the most deserted shopping mall in Shanghai, Shuangxihui. There are some shops on the first floor, but I don't know what their businesses are. There are a lot of food stalls on the basement floor, but there was not one customer there, not even McDonald's. Of course, there are leftovers on some tables at McDonald's, which means there may have been people there just now. The entrance of this gym looks like a clothing store having a clearance sale. I see the security guard is watching short videos because he is so leisurely. The second floor underground, I didn't dare to go down at first. As expected, some shops didn't even have their lights on. But there's quite a lot of shops on the second floor underground. The problem is, with such a scarce flow of customers, how do you get business for so many stores? Look, all the chairs are flipped over. The employees here are quite happy. They get off work early. A lonely man is mopping the floor. The space here is really big, more than enough to grow so many plants. It seems that here will be a Singapore market in the future, but do you have customers? Don't be the result that there are only employees. You can tell that this place has the feel of a high-end shopping mall because there is a lot of space around the elevators. I won't bother to check the parking lot on the 3rd floor underground. Overall, it's really scary how deserted it is here. We can tell that Shanghai's economy is really in trouble, and this is a microcosm of China's economy. Now, many Chinese people have to face the difficulties of salary cuts, layoffs, and unemployment. Under such circumstances, most of them have to save every penny to pay their monthly mortgages. You can imagine the pressure they are under. Some people really cannot pay their mortgages and choose to sell their homes, only to find that the price dropping has made all their efforts in vain. This lady did a summary for many people. The reality is that the prosperity of the real estate market in the past decade absorbed all the wealth of the entire society over the past 30 to 50 years. When it collapses, it takes away all the wealth at one time. The tide of the times has created too many wealthy people, but it will leave too many holes. These holes require us, ordinary people, to spend the rest of our lives to fill. Most people do not enjoy the prosperity of the real estate market, but the mess caused by collapsing left behind is like a mountain falling on the shoulders of every one of us, the ordinary people. Don't you think it's ridiculous? That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.